It's Friday, and you really should know what that means. It's time for more mini stocks on Wildly Inappropriate Circuit. As round 4 of our mini stock series kicks off as we start approaching the end. We hit up Australia this time around 4. Oran Park. This is a short little spicy version. I've seen plenty of this in the rookie series around, but it's a lot shorter than I thought it would be. Very fast track with some hugely scary slings and barely any time to breathe. And let's not forget, set in the hot Australian outback, this is going to be a real scorcher. Probably one of the quickest races on our schedule this season, but in exchange, it's going to be filled with some possible carnage. Well, carnage, racing, whatever you want to say. I'm Howie Burroughs, and as ever, I'm alongside, I say as ever, I'm alongside a wonderful co-caster, but this time we've got Simon Davison back on the prowl. Time for another good old run of the stocks.
Yep, Oran Park, classic rookie circuit, small configuration, does have a lot of long left turns, which you would imagine these asymmetrical cars would actually prefer. This deep send here into turn 1 lets you get all the way across the track, and these cars are probably set up very nicely for us. We have a look at Vlad Tokarev, going through for the first qualifying attempts. Especially that last corner, you want to just get your foot down as soon as possible, try and build as much speed for the run. It is a shorter run on this configuration, but these cars are probably well adjusted to it. It's that left-hander, you can get on it super early, get that back end out, and really get some power into the rears.
Yeah, I wasn't anticipating quite how speedy of a lap this would be until I saw some of these drivers come around. We are sub 1 minute, running the same lap times as last week. I mean, it's going to be a slightly quicker show today. But in exchange, though, I think we're going to see some crazy racing. Some of these tracks that I've not always seen as big overtaking ones. The cars have still gone side by side, and they've bumped and banged. Now, we've had a big new iRacing patch, and the biggest change in the patch has been the introduction of the new gravel modelling, which I thought would be cleared in time as Alcantech spent their practice session deliberately throwing as much off the racing line as possible. It hasn't been cleared. That's probably a setting I need to mess with, but these cars do go off track quite a bit. I think that is going to make things a little bit weird.
Yeah, and especially with the lack of grip these cars have in the first place. I can imagine you want to stay to the racing line as much as possible in these situations. And when you need to go side by side with someone, whoever has control of that racing line is going to matter a lot, because you don't want to be on the marbles. You can see how vicious it is on the second to last corner, just where Alcantech have been doing their business. But even across the track, it's looking pretty dirty out there right now. And these cars are very traction reliant.
I have a screenshot of what they've been getting up to, and I will, name and shame in a second as we're on board. Just a lot of these corners, you can sort of turn them into straight lines if you're brave enough. I think a lot of if you're brave enough is going to apply to this track. It's shorter than I anticipated. The drivers will run right up to the wall here. I will, with only about 6 or 7 drivers, we're probably going to be through all 3 qualifying laps, and I will get that session advanced as quickly as possible. I just wanted to shame, really. This is what we saw in practice. If I can just bring it up now, I mean, it's not really. Is there any excuse for it? Well, I think it was very funny, at the very least. It did get cleared away in enough practice time, but that offline, trying to go side by side with it, it's going to be devastating.
And obviously the track conditions are not going to be that bad, but you imagine a few laps in, the track conditions are going to get worse because cars are going to get pushed off there, they're going to try and carry a bit much speed through that corner, and then suddenly there's marbles on the track again, so that's definitely going to be the danger zone throughout the race. Need to see if, obviously we see Tokarev just forcing that line to get cleared out through the laps. So if it's running, you can get rid of the marbles.
Well,
but if you're not expecting it, if it's lap after, you are in trouble.
Oh, I'm gonna learn how to not speak over people eventually. But all I'll say is we're only 6 drivers on the field. This qualifying went very quick, and we do have a very quick advance of it. So with 6 drivers today, Michael Blissenden taking the race out, although with a drop week, he'll still be competitive. He's neck to neck with Vlad Tokarev in the standings for our first race. Vlad Tokarev is going to be on pole very much as ever, over half a second faster than Matthew Crisp behind. Eric Blix in P3 with Daniel Solo in P4. Anton Oman and Will Shack making up the end. I think cars could get lapped around here. We'll find out as the drivers prepare to grid for our first sprint race. And yeah, it's going to be certainly going to be a very quick blitz around here. But we've got the new. By the way, the new. Do we have the new safety car? I think I put on the new safety car. I would love to.
I don't recognise that safety car, so I'm going to assume it is the new one.
So if I had my way, I would have hired another driver to drive a Ferrari P499 around the track as our pace car. I'm just saying, I really wanted to do it, but you know, you have to find someone that's willing to debase themselves quite like that.
And you didn't ask me?
Nah, I mean, you can't be doing both at once, unfortunately. Maybe Jim could have jumped in and done it. Maybe Jim Cunningham could have jumped in and driven my lovely favourite little hyper. I've still not gotten to drive that car, by the way. I've been moving all week. We're in a brand new location. We're streaming from a secret location now. You know, the last one got out of control. But anyway, there'll be a few changes on the stream, hopefully a better bit rate, and do give me any feedback if anything has notably changed in the setup at home and it's all of a sudden an absolute disaster now. Trying to get everything up and on board as these 6 drivers look like they are ready to go. Vlad Tokarev will lead the race on the right-hand side as these wheels are all over that gravel they're going to be carrying right through. Look at that new gravel modelling that My Racing just added. It is scary stuff. Matthew Crisp will be alongside Eric Blix behind with Daniel Solo trying to maybe intimidate his teammates out of
that left-hand
action.
line is going to drive straight through some gravel here. They're going to have it on their tyres as we take the green.
Yes, indeed. Well, that's going to be a bit of a crazy start, but we are green. Vlad Tokarev gets the better launch, but behind him at 95, Eric Blix has joined him. Looks like the whole right-hand side has been a little bit gummed up along the way as there's a bit of door banging. Matthew Crisp just about getting the advantage up ahead. Vlad Tokarev leads the way. Here's your car audio. I always make it a bit fashionably late every time. Daniel Solo tangling down behind also with Anton Oman. This is your first time you've seen the new Oran Tech designs, but they did actually bring different colours in this time. It's only going to be a couple camera angles around there, really, aren't there? Man, Vlad Tokarev leads the way away with Eric Blix. I think that I messed with the camera angles the last GTR race. It was my fault that they wouldn't change like that, and it could have happened again. So, but this time I know I'm on control of it, and it's my fault. Matthew Crisp and Eric Blix are going to be having a right old chase. Oh, no, I know what I've done. It's a 3-car train up ahead. Anton Oman falling a little bit further behind. There's contact there between the 95 and the 18 going to that first corner. It really is. Every corner here is faster than it looks. There's sort of no time to sleep.
Yeah, make no mistake, they may all have the Alcantech branding, but they are very much not teammates when it comes to this series. Blix trying his hardest to get away past Cripps, looks faster right now, but again, there's no real hard braking zone. Your best bet is into the first and last corners, and even then they're fairly fast flick corners. You're not going to have the advantage as Solo finds the wall.
He went over the grass there, and the gravel didn't help him too much out on the other side. He's into the wall, and Anton Oman is now looking in striking range. Not quite there yet, though, as Vlad Tokarev sets our fastest lap. Only 8 in this sprint. It's going to be over in an absolute instant. Eric Blix is going to want to try and claim this P3, I think, for championship points. That difference on the starting row isn't going to be the biggest consequence. That Daniel Solo sliding more behind just a little, but yeah, this is going to be another race where you have to exploit people's mistakes. I think these tracks have gotten faster and faster as the league has gone on. We're not done going to fast tracks yet, just you wait for Watkins Glen in a week as we finally go back to America for our national tour. Don't ask what I was talking about with that one. And Eric Blix still hasn't sized up Matthew Crisp. Do you think it's going to be a dive bomb, or do you think it's going to be patience?
I think he's going to have to try dive in the future lap. You can see him taking a wider entrance to the last corner there, trying to offset some speed, trying to build some advantage down this straight, but Crisp just appears to have the straight line advantage right now, even with the draft being afforded to 95. Matthew Crisp doing an excellent job of holding position as Will Shack off the track, will avoid the barriers just about, but losing a lot of time there.
Pit exit on this track, they've just marked it with stupid cones. Like, everything in that section is just stupid cones the whole way down. Eric Blix or running over that gravel on his way to try and find a different line. Hasn't quite found it yet, but I'm almost seeing a bit of risk of rear-ending into some of these super high-speed corners, just over halfway on this super speedy sprint. And the positions still stand as they are. I'm worried someone's going to hit those barrels on the right-hand side if they overcook it too hard, to be honest. You have to run against that wall so hard.
Oh,
he tries
maybe?
it. Not
Was that
space
car parked in the infield there?
No space on the inside, but no, I think that was just
barrels.
Yeah, barrels. He tried to. I think he would have forced that car on the inside if he had any more speed. He would have just shoved Matthew Crisp out of the way, and it would have been right up in the spirit of the sort of racing we see here. But speed wasn't there, and he just couldn't quite make the IFGAT car a reality. Vlad Tokarev pulling out a 4-second gap. His main championship rival, Havliciden, is missing today. As previously mentioned, it won't be a wash in terms of the standings because Vlad wasn't here for week 1. This is the first week Havliciden is missing. We're going to be evens in that regard, but Vlad's going to enjoy, hopefully, maybe being able to finally claim a two-peat because he hasn't been able to win a feature. Michael's won all 3, and that is Crisp going wide. Now Eric Blix has forced his way in onto the left-hand side as he tries to really bump Crisp out of the way. Eric Blix just forcing the issue, and it's not done yet. He's not done yet. Teammates are going to seek out revenge for each other here. This is unbelievable stuff. I'm going to have to keep it on this chopper cam before we miss some. The 95, they're swinging wide, losing grip, and that gravel is just absolutely brutal. But Matthew Crisp's going to have him back, and that's Blix in the wall. His challenge has been well and truly warded off for this sprint race. That was an electrifying battle, but I love how physical they get, but it was only going to end in tears for one of them.
I said earlier at the start of this race, if you're offline, you're in the marbles, you're going to have a bad time. That was the first time we've seen these cars go too wide through the section. Surprised they held it through both sets of chicanes that this track has to offer, but when it comes to that last corner, you have to be on the apex, on that curbing, because you can see that outside is just riddled with dirt right now. And again, these cars have a lack of grip at the best of times on that marbling. Blix has no chance of saving that corner, no chance of maintaining speed. Tries it, finds the wall, falls a second behind. And while we're talking about this, Vlad Tokarev, 7.5 seconds ahead, takes the white flag. Absolute showcase here from him.
Yes, it is possibly. I mean, every sprint race has looked easy for him with the pole and the conversion, and it's going to be another one we're just running on board now as the rest of the battle sort of diffuse themselves. We get to take a look at a master of his craft come in and try and claim that prize for himself. A double win here would be spectacular, but it has to start with a sprint win, and he's going to take his 3rd of 3 sprint win attempts. Vlad Tokarev proving his pace again. Now he's going to have to do it in traffic the next time around, but he'll take the checkered flag for his 3rd sprint.
Back towards the previous battle, Crisp has not given up that gap again, stays just about a second ahead of Eric Blix. So P2 for Crisp, P3 for Blix. Solo should come home to take P4, assuming nothing goes horribly wrong in the last 2 seconds. And there we go. With Oman and Shaq rounding out the field once they take the line.
Good battling had by all, but when we reverse the grid in just a few minutes' time, it's going to get a little bit crazier. Just going to try and catch some of the highlights while we have time, and then we'll see whether our Quintet drivers have found a jump on the track. I see whether. It's not a matter of whether, it's an inevitability. The battle between Eric Blix and Matthew Crisp really stood out here. I mean, are they friends or rivals or enemies? As they...
They're not the first one right now, I can tell you that one for free. There was a lot of shoulder banging going on there, and maybe some shortened tempers.
Well,
this battle went on for an entire lap, so...
I think they put her in a private BC, but I think they laugh their arse off whenever they do this. I think this is actually this is comedy for them. I mean, Havliciden claimed in the last interview we did with him that teammates were making monkey noises during the race. So I'm a total belief that they are just finding new and inventive ways. As ever, I penalise horrific, although all of this would have been within the rules with anyone. I do penalise egregious cases of murder, except for when Architect do it to each other, because I consider them a team of violent drivers who will self-enforce each other. So they could have done anything and gotten away with it, really. But that was a great battle, and it did lead that. I'm just checking to see whether... I'm just looking around. This is the warm-up right now, so we're just sort of looking at some drivers that racked up 2Xs, and I'm waiting to see if they found a Tony Hawk's jump yet. Not quite. So as we bring it back live, is anyone here? It's just Anton and Vlad. I'm just going to DM Dan.
There's a lot of marbles in that second chicane, though. That's probably going to be an issue, especially if you are, say, Vlad Tokarev, who now needs to come through the field, needs to go offline to try and get a way through there. If I'm him, he's on the track right now, trying to clear out some of the dirt that's on track right now, trying to find... I'd move around a bit, try and clean out some grooves, try and give yourself some space to work in.
I've been told this is what to look out for. Deeply exciting stuff as ever. I think they found the Oran Park jump, or that's certainly not where you go. Hey, I'm not here to clear black flags. Architect have lined themselves up. No, camera, don't block this. Don't take this away from me.
The formation flying has been interrupted. That's a bit disappointing, I can't lie.
Yeah, I think Dan lied to me. I just think Dan lied to me. There's no other rational explanation for this. We're going sideways. I told them that they could not line up and just deliberately spit gravel onto the track during this warm-up, by the way. Told them that wasn't that was not a... They weren't allowed to do it during this. Here comes Anton. If we catch you on board, I've been told one more's coming. Now's a great time to make a channel announcement, actually. Before I forget, we've got new series lined up for the 2020. Here we go. We're going to get it. But it's 4 of them. It's 4 of them. Nah, give me the whole lot. Yeah, that's amazing.
That shot once again. 4 Architect cars taking flight. Dukes of Hazzard, eat your heart out. Dirt all over the track. Vlad Tokarev in shambles.
How do you beat driving like this? We will be bringing... I don't have a picture for this, unfortunately. We will be... Actually, let me try and grab a picture. I can do this. I made the YouTube thumbnail for this one, so I come prepared. I come prepared to my show. So
this announcement very hot off the presses.
It's more like I was definitely prepared to make this, and then I just sort of had so many other things to do in the hour warm up, like ramble about things, all the important things. We'll be bringing the SOF broadcast on this channel, the Skip Barber Race Series. You've seen them once. We're bringing the entire series over, and we're going to be bringing it on a great Australian time zone slot. In GMT, it's going to be Sundays at 10:15 a.m. first week on the channel. I'll be regularly informed. This is around 10 p.m. for Australians. Other channels have run with this time slot before for the Aussies, but it's our turn to take it, and we call it Super Skippy Sunday. It's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday for the first week of the iRacing seasons. We bring all 12 weeks of the Skip Barber Race Series. Really looking forward to it. We've got broadcasted some racing of the Skip Barber cars before, and they are fantastic. I want to see the best do it every single week.
You say fantastic. I say a little bit barbaric. That's right to some point.
I will say that the Australians promised me that they are going to be better behaved. That's their promise.
I'm disappointed in them.
Their promise.
Anyway,
that's what they tell me. For our feature race, we reverse the grid. Will Shack starts in P1 with Anton Oman in P2. Daniel Solo in P3 with Eric Blixt in 4. Matthew Crisp in 5 and Tokarev in 6. Tokarev has been, I would say without any doubt, he's the fastest driver in this mini stocks league, but he has failed to convert a feature win so far. I may have said 3, it is 2, because this is number 4 and he missed one. So anytime I said he did 3, you know, I was wrong. He's tried 2, and he hasn't been able to convert it so far. Something's always happened to him to sneak up on him and to stop him. But without his big championship rival, I think now is his chance. Yeah, you know the pace car does that. You play iRacing, you know the pace car does that.
The bump drafting during the pace lap has me worried.
Well,
because I think the second Alcantech row is a little bit for fun mode right now, and you've got 2 drivers that are racing hard behind them.
I'll let them work it out between themselves, I think. I do like that BMW pace car, but wait, what are they doing?
They're wrecking!
What did he do? Before we've even launched, Will Shat,
I got a black flag.
Daniel Solo have black flags. I'm not clearing that. You guys have the responsibility to not pass the pace car. Aggressively misses turn 1, and Black Tokarev's going to turn out alongside Dan Solo, who has a black flag to lead this field. So Dan Solo and Will Shack have those black flags.
They're my whole, like,
it's Vlad Tokarev on the left-hand side who's going to lead the field. Eric Blix doesn't have a black flag, and neither does Matthew Crisp. Let me turn you all down. I appreciate all of you a lot, but I'm doing the talking today. Vlad Tokarev leads this field, and Eric Blix and Matthew Crisp tangling down behind. Vlad's getting away with it. He's running, and this could be great for him and his chance in the feature. He struggled to make it up before, and I think he was just gifted this start.
What happened on that start? All the drivers were just argy-bargy, not aligned properly to even do the bump draft properly. And all of a sudden they end up spinning out. There's 3 rows of Alcantech, and they all take each other off the track in the first corner. Gap opens up beautifully for Tokarev, who takes advantage of it perfectly. Solo can't hold him back. Crisp slides up into P2, but my god, what a start. Blix now in P3, Solo can't hold the position, but my god.
Sometimes Alcantech shenanigans go a little bit too far, and Vlad Tokarev got the start he was absolutely dreaming of. Now, I think Daniel Solo did clear his black flag, so I did add another session admin. I'll deal with that after the fact, and I'll make announcements next race about what to how to unravel that situation. Quite frankly, I'll let them race for now, and we'll talk about it in the debrief.
As with any good NASCAR race, this one will finish in the hauler.
Yeah, we're going to have to finish this one in the hauler, but that's what stock car racing is all about. Vlad Tokarev with the run-up from P1. He's always struggled to punch through the field, but with the free gift, he'd have to run into lap traffic for that to be a serious problem. He is super consistent, and he's such a great driver any day of the week around here. These 3 Alcantech drivers are still have a game between themselves here as Eric Blix sits behind Matthew Crisp, maybe with some bad blood to resolve after that first race, or any sort of blood to dish out more violently. They do like to be a little bit more violent on the second run around.
Yes, and we've seen the move that Blix tried to pull last time, took to the inside of the track, tried to hold the position there, could just about hold onto it until this corner where he overshot a little bit, and that's what let Chris back in the fight. Obviously, first, Blix needs to close this gap. This is a very hot track, 30 degrees ambient, I believe he said, and obviously now this being a longer race, there we go. Real units
on track. I mean, I lasted like the weather forecast on an American race. You can't fault me. I got a pander to the audience, but today indeed, 36 Celsius on the track. Not as hot as I thought it would be, because I turned that slider right up. You know, I probably should have turned humidity up to the max as well and just given it to them. I've given them cold weeks in 2 and 3, so I thought I'd give them a nice treat when we hit the Australian Isles.
But with this hot track, these tyres are going to get very toasty, and that's when they start to lose some performance. And if this race goes longer, which, you know, 8 laps versus 14, you might start to see some fall-off towards the end. So it might be a case of if Crisp is able to manage these tyres while holding off the 95.
Eric Blixt is on the chase, and let me try and get up the comparison that we are looking for. It's going to be the battle for P2 that very much defines how this race finishes. I've worked out how to do it without crashing a TVO. Ain't that fun? This is going to be the battle to watch out for. It's going to be the gap between these two, as it's going to sit within this 0 to a second window, but when one driver makes a mistake, it's going to really cascade this down the rest. It's a very quick race, already approaching the halfway mark here.
Oh no!
As that's not it. The mistake being made from behind is going to send him back by more than half a second. Eric Blixt now is going to be watching to try and make up that gap via Matthew Chris messing it up ahead, because that was not good.
I genuinely thought when he got that deep in the corner, those marbles were just going to carry him all the way into the wall. I think Blixt just about got away with that as we go back to the replay. Once again, different camera angle, just to see how close it was in the end. You can see closing the gap late on the brakes, trying to make something happen, can't get the car rotated, has to go to that high side. So much dust kicked up there.
But he does get it done at the very least, but it was sketchy. You're very, very right. Back on board, and the gap's expanded even more. It
like
feels
those tyres are just going to be ruined.
I feel like Eric Blixt made another mistake that we missed while we were showing the replay. Here it is. He must have lost another second now on Crisp up ahead.
No, that'll be on the run from when he got dirty tyres, and now he can't get the car turned, so he has to go deep. And admittedly, turn one's looking pretty clean from this angle, so it's not going to be too bad, but yeah, compounding damage there for the 95.
This new gravel model, man, have you done much racing with this?
Zero.
Well, let me tell you, I've not done terribly much myself, but if you need an example as to just how powerful it is, and how much iRacing have knocked out the park with this is all it. Have you seen anything else interesting coming up for the next season? Or do you have any plans in particular? We're in that stage of the show right now. I might as well get it done with.
Unfortunately for the new ground model system, I'm probably just going to do the NASCAR iRacing series as my main thing, so those tracks notorious for not having gravel traps.
I will say I just got out of a league race with my favourite NASCAR league, Triple Bypass. I raced with them. I got to sponsor one of their races on their stream, and we actually somehow managed to get gravel on the track. We were at Texas, which... how do you feel about Texas Motor Speedway, by the way?
As a spectator, hate it. As a driver, love it.
I hate it. I hate it as a driver. It's evil. It's so bad.
That's why I love it.
How do you make a track, where you have that long of a backstretch and then 3 and 4 are faster? Like, did we just flip gravity upside down? Did we just mess with the physics? How does that work?
It's because those 3 and 4 in Texas are just so tight that you get to carry the speed through the corner. It's really nicely balanced track, actually.
Xfinity in Texas, no way, man. I missed pit entry because I got 22 on my right front after 40 laps. Not 20. That would be embarrassing. Just evil track. Well, we got
moving back to this continent.
We got gravel on the track, is all I'm saying. I'm just saying, though, watch out in your lobbies. I'm going to farm that new LMP3 GT4 multi-class series. I got my P2 in Div in the sprint. We have a new endurance series. 2 out of 40 in the Falcon Tire series. It's a championship for me, okay? I'm an LMP3 god. I want to put him out on this field. Let him run with the Ferraris.
Is falling back to you as well as he is to me? Because it looks like he's struggling to keep the car on track right now. You can see him picking up a lot of gravel through the corners.
Trying to keep me on topic, and he's lost 2 seconds again. And Daniel, at this point, I don't know if it's one mistake or if it's just running this track poorly. I think Eric Blixt, this potentially P3 is at risk from Daniel Solo.
You can see how much of the dirt he's taking on the inside there in that first chicane.
As now we see Daniel is being faster on lap 9 and 10, and this gap is now going to shrink to down under a second, and that could be the end of it. And he goes up the hill, swings it wide. This car's getting loose everywhere. Daniel's going to be all over the rear bumper now. We only have a few laps to go. We've not been focusing too much on Vlad Tokarev's day, but trust me, it's been a good one. So that's absolutely fine for him as he looks crowd on set to finally claim his first feature win and some good points in the book. But really, the game is Daniel Solo, who's going to make an ambitious outbreak attempt. The cars are side by side. There is contact. And Daniel's just going to push him to one side for that one. They're not done yet, swinging side to side, but...
Better than 4!
The nudge. Oh, the nudge. There it is. The bump drop from behind. I want to grab a quick replay of that pass if at all I can. I hope
I don't think you can.
No.
We're going to anyway.
We're going to just quickly hit rewind. You know, there's nothing quite... Oh, it's a great outbreak. Like, it's that 95 which has lost all his confidence and speed. All his confidence indeed, but it's not over yet. Eric Blixt is right within chasing range, and this battle ain't going to...
The return of the favour? He's just going to shove him wide. That's all that's going to happen here. 95's going to take the inside, take the racing line, and give the 30 the marbles!
No! Daniel Solo's smarter than that. He knows here that the 95's going to watch wide, and he just backs off, but he lets it happen. You can go off the track, mate. It's faster every single lap. He's going to quite possibly make it out to this win, but it's on this back half of the track. The 95 is significantly faster. So it's a bit of a give and take here between the two. My bet is on Daniel Solo to keep this together for a lap. And it's all about his exit, and he is going to just about miss this corner and blocking Eric Blixt with a full length of his car to stop him from going through. But it's interesting, the dynamic between these two and how it evolves throughout the battle. Final lap, white flag for Vlad Tokarev, who's almost certainly going to take this. Eric Blixt all over the bumper. It's a bump, it's a bang. He's trying so hard to just shove Solo out of the way. He's happy trying to wreck Solo, I think, here for the win.
I think that's the only way you can make space, is to try and push the other car into some dirty grip of the 95 of Blixt. Your car is not performing how you need it to right now. The only way you're going to get a gap is if you make one yourself. It's desperation mode for 95, but I think that's all he has in the tank at this point.
As Vlad Tokarev crosses the line to claim his feature win, first of the season. We got to get back to see what's going on in the last few corners. And the bumper run has worked. There he blinks and
no!
It's the turning from Daniel. I'm not sure.
Is that an instant limit DQ?
Went.
Is that an instant limit DQ?
No, there was no instant limit. That was a net code, but it was a bump, and then it was a shove, and then it was a murder in response. Real drama over the line to finish this race. I'm going to have to catch that one last time, but not before I think I know what this field are doing. Yeah, I think we know what they're doing. We think they're doing their...
Yeah, it's the jump. It's the send everyone down.
No! It's...
Get some airtime. Contact midair.
Daniel!
No, that was intentional. That was stunt points right there.
Unfortunately, we don't give out points for stunts, really. So, you know, try and get some interviews with the drivers if they'll show. We did only have Michael last time and he isn't here, so we'll try and grab some drivers alongside. We'll grab some replays of what just happened. It was carnage. And we just going to see if I could coax in any drivers now. There's a chance that the stream just heard the Discord song that it plays when you wait for a stage to start. If you did, it's very pleasant, isn't it? Very, very pleasant.
It is a nice little song. You can also just play it. It's great.
Yeah, well, we're going to have a talk to Will Shack, who unfortunately we didn't get to see enough of because the Architect drivers were committing new forms of vehicular manslaughter. And then we'll have a talk to, yeah, we do have some of the Architect drivers in to repent for their crimes. But first of all, Will Shack, if you can hop on up. We do indeed love the Discord space feature. It confuses me at the best of days as well. Hello, Will.
Hey, so I guess today I've got a lot to talk about at the start.
Yeah. I'll definitely bring it up to the others as well. Okay.
I'll break it down for y'all what happened here. So, for context for where I was then, I was sitting in a Discord call talking to someone while for the start, when suddenly 6 people joined all at once, and I had the everyone's volume up a lot so I could hear them because I was screen sharing the Game Awards last night. And so everyone was super loud. So I was deafened, and I was just completely deafened by them. And I couldn't hear the pace car or anyone driving around me. And I couldn't see the pace car because I was trying to listen for it. And then I start trying to predict where it will be, and while getting like basically flashbanged by this, and ended up with this incredible masterclass restart.
So it was a little bit too
people.
hard to make out really what happened here, and I think we are going to need to resolve this one in the haulers after the fact, because in my opinion, if the 13 here push you past the pace car, it's almost a penalizable offense right now. All right,
it wasn't much of a push.
Okay,
I saw him on my bumper, and I didn't realize they wrecked off that. Oops.
Oh no, they wrecked off that.
Yeah, like
I couldn't. I more saw the 13 and panicked.
I thought that you sort of like deliberately jumped the start, or someone, probably an architect driver, deliberately jumped the start, and then I was thinking, I really don't want these guys to clear their black flags for themselves, because, you know, I thought somebody was deliberately playing pranks and pushing over the line. I mean, this was one of the race starts of all time. Your entire story here has added like that great fuzzy layer of plausible deniability on top, which means I'll probably just let you get away with all of it. So, congratulations, Will. Congratulations.
Nice biggest winner, I guess.
Including the clearing of the black flags. It makes sense now, and we've gone full circle.
The favorite part is I panicked because I thought I was going too slow when I saw Daniel tap me in the rear. So I sped up because like I was being just blasted from all senses and just what a race.
And how did you like the conditions? I mean, there was so much violence elsewhere on the field. It was a bit hard to really analyze your struggles, but I did see the off-track count. I mean, it was fairly high, and it was hard. I made it very, very, very hot today.
It was hard, but it was a lot of fun. And like my whole flow was messed up. Don't see that. I didn't do anything there. So my flow, like whole flow of this race was messed up by me doing that. Like I probably would have stayed a bit better on the track without that, but it was fun. It was harder than usual, but I like that.
It was a tricky track and a tricky race. I just love seeing the Hornet on the field every day. You could do anything you want, and if you're running the Hornet, you're running my baby. So, you know, appreciate having you here. Appreciate you running the races, and it's not going to get any easier in the remaining 2 rounds, unfortunately. So, strap in and best of luck.
This time I'll practice like sufficiently for it.
That's smart.
All right.
I did not get a practice in. I don't know this track good enough, so hopefully next week's better.
Moving on to Watkins Glen is going to be fun. As we move, going to quickly move around though. As we move on to Daniel Solo, who so was it? Okay, no, I've got a great idea here. So it was Blix that you battled. So why don't we both let you fight this one out together? Actually. Hello, Daniel Solo and Eric Blix. I mean, that was an incredible battle. But my view of the battle as a whole was Blix was just like lacking pace. Those tires got burned up. Daniel Solo is faster in the first portion. And at the very end, Eric realizes the only way he can win is by actually going for a wreck, which, I mean, between architect drivers, you can have this, but it led to some crazy fireworks. Who wants to speak first?
So,
Yeah.
We basically, I think we can call that a certified Alcantech moment.
Well, you guys are going to get away with that, but I'm just saying that, like, that would certainly was Alcantech at their finest, you know? Like,
yeah, I mean, he broke early turn 1, and I broke very late turn 1, so we had a... Oh yeah, right on screen there. My accidental massive send.
It's almost started it, so I just finished it off.
that's not car racing! That's not car racing! Get on.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna let him get away snatching my P3 because he didn't want to break in the last corner. So his car was a bit magnetic coming out of there.
I wanted to give him the door. He got the corner. got what I
Eric, you had a lot of pace early and it just sort of dropped off a cliff and it really struggled from that point onwards. Was there just like serious tire problems? Was it mental or was it something else? Because you were competing for that P2 and then it became surviving against Daniel.
I might have touched the setup by myself.
Like halfway through the
I
race?
think I should not do
Halfway
that.
through the race?
No,
Better
before the race.
explanation than that.
Before the race. I should not touch the setups. No, I don't know. I lost the draft on Crispy and just didn't have any help on the straight. Kinda tried to pull as much dirt as I could up onto the track in the chicanes. That was not good for my lap times. But
The other thing I wanted to mention is I really thought the track state would reset after practice. It turns out I now have to manually set that because it must
I
be
think you shouldn't.
because iRacing did just change it in the patch, yeah. But I think what they've just done is they've just turned on in the event settings reset track after practice, and that's all they've done because it is a setting you can enable. Because I've exposed the screenshot of the gravel you guys kicked up. Like you can't hide from me. And then I saw it was on the track and quali, and it did make the race very, very, very interesting. I'll give you that. We learn things every day about iRacing. It's a new gravel model, okay? We can do these things.
We have to try it out.
Excellent job. Don't do it again.
Thank you.
True.
We'll see about that.
Well, when we hit the dirt finale, you guys can do whatever you want to the track, and in the hour of practice, and we'll see what happens. So we'll see what happens. I wonder how much damage you can do at Watkins Glen. Great battles, great racing. Obviously, Michael Avlisson wasn't really here to challenge Vlad, and he's going to enjoy that double win. But you guys bought the show in exchange. I will say you were all responsible for absolutely gifting him. He hasn't been able to make a good P1 yet in a feature, and you guys absolutely gifted that to him with your start.
I mean, we're closing into Christmas. It's time for gaming.
We just want to be nice.
Yeah, Merry Christmas indeed. Any shout-outs other than to Santa Claus before we wrap up the show?
Everyone here, not toughly. Yeah.
Not happily. Okay. I mean, listen, real life gets in the way sometimes, okay?
There was possibilities of him being here. Yes.
He told us last week he wouldn't be here, so it was expected.
Well, there is opportunities. He just is not persistent enough. Yeah.
He ditched us. That's all.
Well, he'll be back to deliver vengeance as our final asphalt round kicks off next week at Watkins Glen. It's going to be an exciting one. I believe it's probably the next race we have on this channel as the Skip Barber series doesn't start until the first week of the season. Lots of very, very fun race, very, very chaotic one. It seems like there's a surprise every single week here. It's amazing how big the surprises are. Also, thank you guys for the jump. And thank you to everyone at home for watching. I think the stream went by about a hitch, which is fantastic because I'm starting to get paid by people to bring broadcast now, so they better be working. But I've been Howie Burroughs, and this has been Simon Davison. Wishing you a great evening, and we'll wish you the holiday festivities next week. But the season's coming. She's already